care about.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had a big base in like playing that grunge stuff and Judas Priest and all that, and like it's just very solid. Just you sit there and you play the backbeat and whatever. And then same thing with pop punk. It's the same thing, just faster.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be real solid. So that helped me in the long run with not like being all over the place with my timing. I don't
Mm-hmm.
I don't really push really hard. I don't really pull or drag really hard. I have a nice like ebb and flow to my timing, which is nice.
I was going to
Oh
say,
yeah.
not to fast forward, but in the Desecrate the Faith stuff, you guys, I can tell that you guys know when you want to keep it slow and groovy and when you want to turn up that speed knob, because I think like maybe 3/4 of the way through the album, all of a sudden the tempo kicked up a huge notch on that album.
That's a long fucking album too. It's
It's
like 53 minutes or something ridiculous.
yeah, 12 tracks, and it definitely is it's a chunky one. But I had enough
We're
time
doing that
today
again this time, by
at
the way,
work.
with the new record.
I was able to get through actually all of it on at work today, and it's one of those albums. And again, I'm fast forwarding because we haven't even got to this band yet, but it's one of those bands that doesn't shy away from staying in the groove. They want to really marinate in certain riffs and explore them. So we'll get into exploring that band later. But I was just attributing it to what you were just saying.
Yeah, it also helps that like with that stuff is I wrote a lot of it. So I didn't write all of it, but so that album, you were listening to the Unholy Infestation album, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
It's I wrote about half of that album, like guitars, bass, drums. So it's very. I'm super. Um, indecisive is not the right word, but I like a lot of changes. But when I find a riff I like or a groove I like, I sit on it for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But I like a lot of tempo changes too. Like all the songs that are mine on the record, except for like two, have like 4 tempo changes, 5 tempo changes.
But even when you talking about like wanting to sit in a riff, you're still you're getting your shit in on the drums during that riff. The riff will repeat several times, but you actually explore your kit throughout that groove the whole time, still keeping it within the groove.
Yeah, it's to me like I like Pocket. Like Pocket's cool. Like I can listen to dudes like Benny Greb and like Carter McLean like all day, where they just sit there and they can play 2 and 4 all day, and I'll be happy. Like they don't even have to play a fill, right? They could play the same thing and it feels great. But I'm the kind of person where like I kind of get bored doing that, so I
Mm-hmm,
want to
mm-hmm.
explore how many things within reason can I do, like to spice this up without it like wearing out its welcome. You know what I mean?
Totally, dude. And that actually is. I'm gonna drink real quick because I said totally.
Speaking of,
Get it.
But that's the same exact feel that I got from listening to that album and listening to you specifically on the album, is that there's a groove that happens and everybody loves to sit in it, and the drums are in it as well, but you do push the boundaries of how far can I take this groove before we need to get out of it and move on to the next thing.
yeah, we do that on the. I mean, it's not out yet, but it actually we just finished all the mixing today. But the new record is we do the same thing where, like you mentioned earlier, there's a lot of fast like we have the fastest fast stuff we've ever done, and then we also have the slowest slow stuff we've ever done.
Mm-hmm.
And there's parts on the record where this riff just goes on like forever, and it's we have like leads for the first time, like leads and solos and like whatever, because we had Marvin from Stabbing was in the band,
Nice.
and so he wrote like a bunch of solos and stuff. So we have those in the in it, so we can afford to like sit on riffs for a longer amount of time. But yeah, I
All right,
go a little overboard on drum
yeah,
stuff.